Hi, hello. My name is Angie, and I guarantee that neither of you know me yet. I've had this idea to, just for fun, to start a YouTube channel, but there is something I've been really wanting to talk about, and I decided that for my first video, I'll just talk about this. And you guys don't have to listen or anything, it's just a piece of advice. And fair warning, this video might be a little long. And sorry if I keep looking this way, I'm just checking. Not used to this. So, I'm going to talk to you guys about my first experience with owning a turtle. And it was not a very pleasant one. And it wasn't very well. I had a turtle for about a month before he died, and his death kind of inspired me to dig more into where he came from, and I'm not very happy with this company anymore. I made so many decisions, and one of my decisions was buying from MyTurtleStore. So I had a turtle named 𝙵𝚬, and he was bought from MyTurtleStore. And I want to talk about that for any of you who might be thinking about buying a turtle. Now, if I keep looking down, it's because I have notes that are written down, so I remember to get through the most important parts. So, first of all, what is MyTurtleStore? Basically, MyTurtleStore is a store. I don't know if it's an actual pet store that you walk into because I don't live there. But upon Googling it, it is a warehouse. It looks like a warehouse in Florida. I tried to look for like pictures of inside and stuff like that. None of that showed up, so I think it's just a warehouse. It is owned by Robert Moore. I think that's his name. Robert Moore. I think. I'm not entirely sure. Finding information about this place is kind of weird. Like, there's not that much information about it. And basically, MyTurtleStore, and I think there's also a MyTurtleStore, something like that. They sell hundreds and hundreds of turtles online. Something really sketchy that weird, was that they rarely, like when I went to the site, they rarely were like out of stock on one turtle. Like, they always had these turtles, which I guess is kind of like a red sign for like just mass breeding, like just breeding these turtles. Because I don't know, I've never bred a turtle. I don't know how much baby turtles are born or anything about this store that much. I tried to do my research, but sorry, someone wanted to join me. So, yeah. So, I came across MyTurtleStore when I was wanting to purchase a turtle. I had already purchased mostly everything I needed for a turtle, and I just needed the turtle itself, and I was looking where to buy one. My heart was set on purchasing a southern painted turtle, and those are kind of hard to find in person. Like, they're pretty common, I'm sure. Like, it's a painted turtle. Painted turtles are pretty common. Painted turtles and sliders are pretty common in stores. But the pet stores near me, they didn't have painted turtles. Around this time was when I was just starting to get into TikTok, and I ended up searching up turtles on TikTok, and I came across this video of a girl with like a little baby red-eared slider, I think. And basically, it was a really cute video. Basically, she was just swimming a turtle while singing that nursery rhyme. I had a little turtle named Tiny Tim, something like that. And I was reading the comments, and someone asked her where she got her turtle from, and she said MyTurtleStore. Hi, Also, I was about to edit the video when I realized that I forgot to mention that the girl that I saw the TikTok from, her turtle also ended up dying. I don't think I saw this TikTok until after. If I find the TikTok, I'll like link it down below so you guys could check that one out. But her turtle also ended up dying. She said it was from he suffered a heart attack while she was cleaning his tank. That's all I know about it. So at this time, I was actually looking into buying a turtle line just because I couldn't find any local southern painted turtles near me. So I hopped onto Google and I Googled this site. And sure enough, they had a southern painted turtle on their site. I was reading the reviews. Honestly, the biggest part about getting a turtle from MyTurtleStore was that you really don't know. There's so many people saying no, don't do it, while there's people saying yeah, do it. I got turtles from there, they arrived all healthy. It's a great. I'm satisfied with my purchase, and that's one of the biggest things, because you don't have like one answer. Like, everyone has different experiences with that store, and I decided to go for the store anyway, and hopefully that I'd get a good turtle that wasn't sick and I'd get a good experience out of this. So now I'm going to talk about 𝚬𝚠's story. Now, I received 𝚬𝚠 May 25th. The shipping was pretty accurate. I paid for the most expensive shipping. He arrived when it said he will. I think it was like 3 days after I bought him, on Wednesday. I think I got him online on Sunday or Friday. I think it was Friday, but he arrived Wednesday at around 6 p.m. in the night, and I was really excited. When I unboxed him, he arrived with his eyes closed. I don't know if he was sleeping or something, but he arrived with his eyes closed. I got pretty concerned, but you know, I didn't really think much of it. It was the first day. And so I tried to give him some food. He didn't eat, and then again, I didn't think much of it because he just came from shipping. I'm sure he's tired, he's scared, he's stressed. So I put him in his new aquarium. The first whole day I've had him, he pretty much explored. It was very exciting. He was just swimming around. It was very fun to watch him just explore. And I gave him food again, and he did not eat it. And the third day was basically really weird. I was very concerned that day because all he did was sleep. He was on his basking spot all day, and he just slept. He didn't do anything. And I don't know if that's normal or not, but I was very concerned. So basically, he will not eat. In that month I had him, he would not eat. He wouldn't eat his pellets. And he'd eat worms. Like, they sent like a small package of like worms, like freeze-dried worms, and I sprinkle those with calcium. And honestly, but I stopped giving them to him because someone said that if I just kept giving his words, he would become a picky eater. But he wouldn't eat his pellets. Like, I saw him take a bite of his pellets like once, and that was it. I also tried to give him some vegetables. He did take a few bites of them, but nothing too big. And something I noticed about 𝚬𝚠 was, which I didn't actually notice very in the beginning, I noticed it a little too late, that he always swam at the surface. And also when he'd be in the water, sometimes bubbles would come out of his nose. When I told my mom this, she was like, oh, you know, it's normal. But I'm pretty sure it isn't. I had my suspicions that he came to me with a respiratory infection. But he arrived to me during quarantine, and I'm a minor. I can't just get into my car and drive to the vet. I did check beforehand that there was an exotic vet near me. I don't know. Basically, it was just a vet. But they treated like pretty much all animals, which was I was very fortunate. But Koa, I kind of was just hoping that he was okay and he was just getting used to water and stuff, because aside from that, he did have a personality. He loved chasing the bubbles produced by his water filter, and he loved basking and stuff like that, and I just was really hoping that he'd make it, and I was just waiting for quarantine to be over so I could get him into a vet. Unfortunately, I never got to that point, because one day Koa was climbing up the egg crate basking area I made him, and before that he was climbing up. He never climbed up there. He did bask though. I had a rock sticking out of the water so he could bask and get up on there more easily. And he never really tried to climb up his egg crate until that day. I was climbing up the egg crate basking area, and it was moving pretty slow. He'd just stay there, and then I'd leave, and then I'd come back, and he'd be a little bit higher. And so I found that really cute. And when I went to sleep that night, because it was night, he was still climbing up there, and I was like, okay. And then the next morning, he was no longer in his egg crate basking area. He was in like the fake plants I had in there with him. And I don't really think anything of it, because he loved sleeping in the plants, like the fake plants. I would always find him in that plant that I put in there. So I ate breakfast and stuff like that, and I decided it was time to feed him. So I went and I got him out of the water, and he didn't wake up, and he didn't move, and he was just, his eyes looked a bit weird, and I just had this feeling in my stomach that was like, something isn't right. So I ran to my brother and I told him, something's wrong with Koa. And so he came to my room, and he thought I was being over dramatic, because when I first had Koa, I was always very worried. I was like henpecking, you know. I was just so worried, you know. It was like I kind of felt like a mother who just had her newborn son or first child and didn't know what she was doing. And so we tried, you know, we moved Koa a little. We Googled stuff, and Koa would not wake up. He would not open his eyes. I was like, could he be hibernating? From what I read, hibernating turtles still respond to movement and distractions, but Koa did not respond. He did not move his head. He did not open his eyes. He wasn't responding, and I decided that eventually I decided to go tell my mom, and she also tried to wake up Koa, but he did not wake up, and eventually we had to come to we had to accept that Koa was dead. He died on April 24th. And we buried him in my backyard. This is not to say that I did not make any mistakes, because I did make many mistakes. I think, looking back at it, I did not take him to a vet right away, which I definitely recommend. If you guys are going to ignore my warning, or or take your chances, that's okay. It's your decision. Just please take it to a vet. You do not want to go through, you don't know what's going on, especially if this is your first time owning a turtle. Please take it to the vet. And then I also think that since the rock was his easiest, as was where he mostly basked. I do think it didn't get enough UVB because the rock was kind of far from the UV light. I do think that eventually he did start to get a little bit of shell rot because his shell was kind of turning grayish, like a gray mark, and I didn't really notice that at first. I noticed it way too late. I think it was like around the day he died that I noticed and realized that maybe he needed to get more UVB. He didn't really eat calcium either because he wouldn't eat his pellets. The only form of calcium he got was when he ate the worms, but like I said, I also stopped giving him those because someone said that he might become a picky eater. And I wanted him to eat the pellets because obviously he couldn't survive off freeze-dried worms. But I think my biggest mistake was deciding to order from MyTurtleStore in the first place. And I don't want anyone to go through what I went through, and I finally decided to make this video to warn you all after I googled it, and I read a review actually, and this review was very similar to mine. I didn't write a review, but it was very similar to my situation. Basically, I don't have the review. I will put a picture on the review. This woman bought a southern painted turtle for her daughter, and he wouldn't eat for a while. And then he never really ate regularly, and the turtle died about like 3 weeks after she got him, which is pretty much what happened with Koa. So I think it's best if we just support local breeders who care about their animals, because clearly MyTurtleStore doesn't care about their turtles. There's so much stories of them setting sick turtles, and while there are some good ones, like on my search, I wanted to believe all the good reviews, and because there were so many people saying that they got their turtles healthy and their turtles were still healthy like months later, but unfortunately that's not what I experienced, and I just wanted to share this story with you guys. Koa, I only had him for about a month, but he was part of my family and I would have never given up on him. Unfortunately, I made lots of mistakes and I am hoping to learn from them, and this experience just made me live with a lot of guilt that I couldn't give him a long, healthy life. And I'm not saying some things were my fault. I'm sure some things were my fault. But I'm just saying that if you don't want to receive a sick turtle, and you don't want to risk losing your turtle way too early. Like, that turtle was meant to live could live up to 30 years, but he only lived a month. That's not healthy. That's not normal. Like, no turtle should live for a month. Something was wrong. And if you don't want to risk that, please don't order from there. But if you want to risk that and you're willing to take your turtle to the vet and do everything right, then go ahead. That is Koa's story and my first experience with owning a turtle. And I wouldn't say it's scared me away from turtles entirely. I still really like turtles. But I will say that I will not be owning a turtle for a while, for a few years. If I decide to get another turtle in the future, that's on me, and I would make sure that it is not from MyTurtleStore, because I am done with that store. So please, if you're gonna buy a turtle from online, make sure you do it with caution. That's it for today. I hope you guys learned something from Koa's story, and I'm not in any way telling you what to do. I just want to make sure you guys know what you're gonna get into, what you could be getting into when purchasing from MyTurtleStore. Right? Okay. Bye.